Hello everyone, my name is Odur Jagero. I run Core Media and I am with my friend Achapa, who run PixArt Media.
Yes, yes.
And Achapa and myself, we always talk about branding and everything that entails branding. And so the other day we were talking about one of the, the most important things in branding, and we were talking about storytelling.
Yeah.
So we figured out that we could be talking about brands. One of the most interesting stories about branding that I've read is on Land Rover. So, of course, I hope that Domino's Pizza has their story to tell.
Yeah, definitely.
So I am looking at one of the YouTube documentaries that was done by. Oh, that's nice pizza. Where shall we put it?
Okay, place it back there. Yeah.
So they have this documentary called "The Land of Land Rovers."
Okay.
And basically, they are talking about the Land Rovers that were made in 1957. In the Himalayas. So these guys, they bought these Land Rovers and they have never bought any other car. So what they do is just maintain them, change the spares. And then when Land Rover was marking their 70th birthday, they decided to do a story on this, and it's amazing. And there's an old guy who comes on the set and says that, these Land Rovers are old, but they're not as old as mankind. And that for me was a very powerful story, and the way Land Rover opens the documentary with that. So back to our Kenyan situation, our Kenyan setup. I wonder, when we talk about storytelling as a brand, what exactly do we mean? What is storytelling as a brand?
So so every brand has a story.
Yeah.
That's bottom line. And over the years, a brand grows like a human being.
Yeah.
So a child comes into life and they are born and they are named.
Yeah.
Okay? And they begin picking attributes.
Yes.
So Jagero is loud. Deems is
it's quiet and cunning.
Yeah. But then you begin to associate the individual with some of these characteristics or attributes. So we have brands that have reputation for longevity.
Yeah.
All right. So how does that come about? How do you then trace? The most interesting bit is, if a brand is still alive today, you've just talked about Land Rover.
Yeah.
And you said it was the story was shot in memory of which year?
1959, the 70th birthday. The 70th anniversary.
70th birthday. So that's a brand that has lived over 70 years.
Yeah.
If there was nothing recorded about the history of that brand, there wouldn't be any story. The reputation of a number of companies or brands, rather, is the story.
Yeah.
America has for instance, America is actually a brand with a very interesting brand associations.
Yeah.
We know of the American dream. We know of what America stands for. All these things, those are brand associations around America. But it stands out because of the years of history that they've been able to keep track of.
Yeah.
And in that process, keeping track of what progress.
Yeah.
So every brand essentially has a story. Unfortunately, in some cases, the brands whose stories are not told, either by omission or not knowing what's supposed to be done about telling brands. But essentially, every brand ought to have a story, including the Domino's.
The Domino's.
Yeah.
But then, so the question is, if I started a hustle or a gig
Yeah.
last year or the year before last year,
Yeah.
or let's say after 2010, do I have a story as a brand?
Definitely. So, any idea that you want to bring into life starts at a point of thought.
Yeah.
So, an idea pops up in your mind, and you make a deliberate decision that I want to run with this.
Yeah.
That is where the story begins.
Yeah.
That's where the story begins. When you, as brand strategists or graphic designers, when you set out to build someone's brand,
Yeah.
the first thing you want to establish is what inspires
Yes.
that thought.
Yeah.
The next thing is what solution or what challenge does it solve
Yeah.
in the life of the consumer.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately, you want to put this cocktail of ideas
Yeah.
in a manner, you want to craft it in a manner that then appeals to your audience or your target market.
Yeah.
So you begin to tell your story from that particular point. In any step of success or any step of progress towards your product or service
Yeah.
needs to go into your storyline.
Yeah.
Most importantly, in brand building, there's something called information management.
Yes.
There's a part of information management in brand management, because it's not everything that happens in the life of a brand that you want to tell.
Yes.
The only aspects of it that you want to tell, the things that are useful to the internal environment and management of a company, but the things that are useful for the population out there who expect to hear from you. So you choose carefully what to put out there and what you communicate internally, and so you begin to pick those things. Most importantly, when you are building a brand, for instance, you're at an initial stage of building the brand. Remember, the first person that has to buy into that idea is you. And as the leader, you have to take the responsibility or prerogative to be able to sell that idea to the people that make your team. So that is your first client by default. If they don't buy into your idea, if they don't believe in what you believe, then you're already getting into some very dangerous gray areas.
I tend to think that storytelling, especially for young and small companies, I think also that it is about your story as the founder of the company. For example, if there are people that have been disappointed in life by different things, and they, for example, if you are in marketing, and you are employed for a very, very long time, and you dealt with service providers and agencies and all these other people, and then you have a huge passion for branding and marketing, and then now you leave this company and start your own. When you go out and say that, I used to deal with these people, but I was very disappointed with how some things were working, and so I wanted to do it well.
Yes.
But I wanted to improve on it. Do you think that is a narrative that you can bring into branding?
Definitely. Disorder has a way of creating the best material for order in any circumstance.
Yeah.
So you get into this environment, for instance, you're employed, and your way of thought or thinking is at odds with the company's way of doing things.
Yeah.
And in most cases, you don't last too long in such organizations.
Yeah.
Most of the time, if you're a keen person whose interest is in personal development, you would be keen to learn how not to do things.
Yeah.
And then in the process, learn how to solve problems better. Because what clients buy is solutions to challenges. And so you come out of that place and you know why.
Yeah.
So that question, the answer to that question, why, then becomes your inspiration into beginning to build a brand that someone can actually buy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Remember the last time we had a conversation about, last week when we had a general conversation about brands, we said that at the end of the day, you want to build a brand and build it actively to a point where it earns brand equity.
Yeah.
One of the things that is a key element of brand equity is a brand perception. What do people think about your brand?
Yeah.
Why should people buy your brand over another? Why should they buy now or rather than deferring that decision to purchase? So all sorts of elements to it. Yeah.
And then now people have heard what branding, what storytelling in the brand is.
Yeah.
You know the nitty-gritties around it. The question is that there are different routes to branding.
Yeah.
There are people who do I want to do it in video? Do I want to do it in writing? Where do I start in order to start telling my stories?
So when you talk about brands, once you say, let's assume that you've established your basics.
Yeah.
You've developed your goods in a product or a service. A communication holds a very key position in building brands.
Yeah.
So you want to figure out who is my client, first of all. What is my client's persona? What language does my client appeal to? Am I talking to octogenarians or am I talking to youthful people? How do I coin my message? All these items, one after another, build up to telling the story of a brand.
Yeah.
End of the day, what you want to do is to tell a believable story.
Yeah.
That makes someone dip into his pocket and chuck some hard cash to pay for the service.
Yeah.
So at the end of that cocktail of aspects or elements, what you want to have is believability.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so
what do you mean by believability? Do I pick a story that is believable, or do I pick a story that is real? Or I mean you have to pick on something that is real, something that is there.
There is no one size fit all way of telling a story. You're a fictional writer.
Yes.
You might probably be finding it hard writing on academic stuff or other technical stuff.
Yes, that's true.
Your perspective of any story almost always will pick an arc from the fictional point of view.
Yes.
All right? So you tell the story from that particular point of view.
Yeah.
But then make sure it's relatable. And that's why it's important to know who your client's persona is. Yeah. What are the things? I know you're in, first of all, I know you are in IT space.
Yes.
You do, you're a writer.
Yeah.
You also build online ecosystems, including building websites. What language do you appeal to?
Yeah.
That is where your language is. So I'll try to if you're my ideal client, say I want to sell to you, pizza.
Yes.
I would actually say workplace.
Yes.
Yeah. For workplace entertainment.
Yeah.
Don't get too bored.
Yeah.
Dipping your head on the laptop, stuff like that. Yeah, lift your head for a bite, for instance. A language that then tends to push the product, but then appeals to you. At the end of the day, again, there are two things to selling a product. There's a push strategy, there's a pull strategy.
Yeah.
The best scenario you can have to have a pull strategy, where your product then attracts demand. Yeah. Then you don't have to spend a lot of time and finances.
You can take what you need
and pushing. Yes. I'm trying to bite this away. Yeah. And have a sip of this mint tea. We're trying to drink away the guilt of eating junk.
We are not eating junk.
Yeah? What is this?
We are not eating junk. This is vegetable, is it not? It's vegetable.
with loads of cheese, man, and carbs
But cheese is not too bad.
at the crust. Anyway, it's enjoyable. That's the bottom line. So that's basically how to look at it.
Yeah.
That's basically how to look at it.
Am I going to do a video?
Yeah.
Am I going to write a blog?
Mhm.
Am I going to ask somebody that I've worked for to tell the story? Am I going to ask my CEO to tell the story? Sit there, look at the camera, and talk about the. Or am I going to bring the chairman of the board to talk about our story? What are we going to do? Are we going to do a documentary about, a specific brand of pizza, a specific, how do we go about it?
So you can do all of that,
Yeah.
okay? But you can also choose what works for you best. So you can interview an authority. If I was trying to get 60-year-olds to eat pizza, then I would interview a 70-year-old because that's aspirational. You're 70 for a 60-year-old and still eating pizza and looking good.
And looking good.
Yeah.
And you're not going to tell them that they should also run after that.
Yeah. Okay. So that simply means that eating pizza has something to do with health. 10 years later, in my life, you see. So it's just a perspective thing. What perspective do you want to communicate?
Yeah.
What perception do you want to achieve on the other end
Yeah.
for whoever is consuming that kind of content? What do you want them to do
Yeah.
when they see that information?
Yeah.
So you coin these things, why should they buy what they're seeing now
Yeah.
rather than deferring that choice? Okay, so there's a cocktail of things that you need to put together. Now, the thing about choice of media or medium for communication,
Yeah. I guess that's what I was asking.
that's the question you're asking, right? Choice of medium, no single medium will achieve everything that you want to achieve.
Yeah.
Again, not all media have the same degree of consumption
Yeah.
with your audience. So you have to know, you have to learn your audience, and I keep insisting.
And know where they are.
And know where they are, and know what they consume.
Yeah.
If your audience consumes TikTok, plow it right there. If your audience reads, for instance, I'm sure your audience reads.
Yeah.
You're not gonna. I don't think you'd spend a lot of time going on. You'd spend a lot more time doing blogs.
Yeah.
And generating inbound links to your site and to buy the books that you write.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, it's an understanding thing. Understand your audience, understand what you're selling. Boom. Craft interesting content for it. So there are different kinds of content. Again, all these kinds of content need to marry to support the same brand. Last time we spoke about consistency in building brands, and that's the end goal for the consistency. So you don't have disjointed representation or communication about a brand. For now, for example, we have images.
Yeah.
Do the images speak to the essence of your brand? Do they communicate the same message as what you've written or what you want to communicate? What is your call to action? What do you want these guys to do?
Yeah.
Are they subscribing? Are they purchasing?
Yeah.
Are they supposed to call you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a cocktail of stuff.
All right.
Yeah.
Who does this for me as a company?
Who does this for
Who
you?
helped me tell my story as a company? Is it Pixart Media?
Of course, Pixart Media does this from a strategic angle perspective. But I've worked with you as a writer to generate for me promotional write-ups for these things, and it's important to know where your resource is.
Yeah.
Most of the time, you might not be in a position where you can do everything. What you cannot do, make sure you outsource.
Yeah.
Outsource it from the best source that you can find. End goal, quality. Make sure you have quality stuff that work for you. Sometimes the reason why a lot of people say that marketing is expensive is because sometimes it doesn't give the outcome that you want.
Yes.
What they naturally call ROI, return on investment.
Yes.
If you do your marketing right, if you produce your content right, it definitely will pay back.
Yeah.
Something very important that I need to mention. We are largely or predominantly on the online space right now. Of course, it has been advanced by the COVID-19 season. A lot of things are selling online. And a lot of people are still struggling with how to place what to say online, how to generate a sale online. What you need to do, first of all, rather than just seeking to generate a sale, is as you build your brand, there's an equation, a very simple equation that you need to look out for. Number one, there's a part that you play as the owner of the product, service, or vision. So there's an equation that says, every day there's what is called the digital footprint that you create. Everything that you put online, you're beginning to generate digital footprint.
Yes.
So the digital footprint comes from digital stamp, which is what you say about yourself. Stamps you place every day. And digital shadows.
Yes.
So the digital shadows basically is what people say about you. The reason why I insist
when the elephant has turned its back,
yes,
it's going away.
It's either they draw a bullseye on your back and shoot you to death, or they say very good things about you that then promotes your brand. The ultimate situation that you can achieve in online marketing is to have a positive digital shadows. Other people talking about you. Remember, the basic form of sales from time immemorial has been word of mouth. That is the simplest and easiest way to sell. So I talk to you, you talk to someone else, and we all know about what we're selling. What online platforms have done is to put that word of mouth on steroids. Because I post something now and have how many followers? Probably over 5,000 followers. There's a chance that they will see it, not a definite. There's a chance. If you place it well and communicate it well, there's a chance that almost a quarter of them will see it. Then if assume that they pick it and wing it, it means that you have another spread. So that word of mouth goes out very fast. Now, if you achieve digital shadows to a good extent, you have achieved your goal. So if it was awareness, it burns like wildfire.
Great. All right. I think that is exhaustive enough. Thank you very much. Again, my name is Edward Jagero. This is my friend and fellow professional,
Emmanuel
Mr. Chapa, Pixat Media. I hope you enjoyed watching us eating pizza and discussing something that is interesting. And so we welcome comments. If you have anything that you want to add, you can chip in and talk about it. Thank you very much, and next time.
Till next time, asante.